Realize this, you're the main character of your life and you are now entering your winter arc. The type of person that clicks on my video is someone that wants to change because they know they are meant for something more. Think about it. Why would you click on a video named Enter Your Winter Arc when you know it's filled with sacrifices, challenges, difficult choices, if it wasn't to become a greater version of yourself? Just so you know, you're in the right place because that's the type of person I want to attract. High achievers, ambitious, visionary, and you're already a step ahead because you understand that to transform your life, it comes at a price, sacrificing comfort. But the problem is, how many times have you been wanting to change your life, but haven't succeeded? You know that it's supposed to be uncomfortable. You know the changes that you want to see, yet you don't actually follow through. I know you've listened to tons of winter arc videos, yet you're still not committing to the change. And even worse, you'll tell yourself lies like, I'll do it tomorrow. And I know this because I've been that person. And you'll tell yourself that over and over again. You'll go to bed at night, you'll visualize your next day and think about all the things that you want to do differently. But then when the morning comes, you keep following the same habits of snoozing and then waking up last minute, not doing anything that you planned on doing, and then going about your day staying the same person you've always been. And I know you go to bed at night disappointed because you want to change, yet you see yourself not changing. You have to realize if you don't actually commit and have the courage and the discipline to change your lifestyle and change your behaviors, your life will remain the same. No one is out there to save you. You're the only one that can change it, and it starts by taking ownership of your life. And one of the mistakes that you could be making is you're waiting for the perfect time to start. I know what it's like to want to change your life because if you don't know who I am, my name is Bianca St. George and I'm a professional soccer player. But being a pro athlete, our careers cannot last forever. I know that I will retire relatively soon, at least sooner than when most people retire. So that means that I need to prepare now for life after sports. And that used to really stress me out because I did not know what I would do, what my new job would be. To discover what I wanted to do, I decided that I needed to commit to my self-improvement and developing my personal brand online. Because that way, I not only will improve as a person and grow and evolve, but I will have some sort of backbone online that gives like some sort of footprint to who I am as a person and the opportunities I want to attract. I can see how important it is for me to focus on my self-improvement because I have seen how beneficial it has been in my life. And I have also seen how coming on here on YouTube and sharing my insights has also been revolutionary for me. I've become a better communicator. I've become more disciplined. I've become more insightful in my life. And all of that is because I have committed to this change. But sometimes I have anxiety creep up on me. I start overthinking. I literally feel paralyzed and stuck. And when I'm entering this state, it's almost like as I have someone like choking me and I just feel like I cannot do anything anymore. And then I see myself not doing the things that I feel like I should be doing. And then I start entering a loop of laziness and procrastination, and I end up feeling bad about that as well. And you can see it could be a self-sabotaging circle that never ends. But the thing is, I have learned to take my power back, so when I do feel anxious, when I do catch myself not living up to my expectations, I can kind of snap out of it and do something differently and actually change my behavior to match the one that is the higher version of myself. The only way you can escape this pattern of mediocrity is by taking your power back and actually making the change. You change by doing the change. You can't just like think about it and wish it because that will keep you stuck. You actually start seeing progress in the real world if you put your energy outwards towards the things that you want to change. This is the hardest skill that you will ever learn in your life, but it's what makes you the most powerful because once you understand that you can actually control your behavior and you have the discipline to follow through that, you start becoming the creator of your life. You start controlling your life and you're living literally at the highest version of yourself because you are making deliberate, conscious decisions that matches the future that you want. But thankfully, this skill is something that can be built. This skill is something that can be developed, and it gets easier the more you do it. Right now, it's just extremely hard because you're stuck in this pattern and you're trying to change and you're not doing anything about it. But this is what my video is going to be about. I want you to start changing your life by making the changes, and that comes from taking your power back. And if you haven't seen my previous video is literally all about how to take your power back. I lay out exactly the 6 ways to access that power. But this video is a little bit different. I want to teach you how to build your power. So not only will you be able to access your power through the other video that you need to watch, but how can you build that power so it gets easier for you to make changes? Remember, you are trying to change your life. You're entering this winter arc, this period of change, because you want to change. You want your life to look differently. And I'm not here to tell you what those actual changes are, because that will depend on what you want. Maybe you'll want to start working out more. Maybe you'll want to work on your side hustle, meditate, get better grades, eat clean, focus on your relationships, grow your social media. It could be literally anything that you want. That is not up to me to decide. That is up to you. But I will tell you how to structure yourself to increase that power, so then when you have the opportunity to make better decisions, you will know how to do that easier. So let me teach you how to build that power. Okay, this is practical. This is something that you can actually do. And please just do it, because that's literally what's going to change everything for you. Once you start applying this, once you start accessing the power that you have to actually change, you'll realize the confidence that it gives you. And you'll realize how resilient you are, because you will always kind of fall back to those patterns of anxiety. Sometimes you will be lazy. Sometimes you'll make mistakes, but you won't ruminate on it and then keep sabotaging even further and staying stuck. You will have the power to notice that you have gone at a lower vibrancy, but you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay stuck in your past. You can actually do something about it, and you can step out of that and take control of your life again. The more power you can build, the better you will be at making better decisions, and that will literally be you crafting the life of your dreams. And the winter arc isn't just this phase of your life. It's literally this momentum that you're trying to create for this new lifestyle. This is not something that you just focus on for a little bit and then the work is done. This is literally the beginning of this new journey where you stop staying stagnant and you actually make progress every single day. So now let's get into the 6 ways to start building your power so you can start transforming your life. The first way to build your power is to understand the concept of progressive training. And progressive training basically means that you need to increase the level of challenges over time. One of the biggest mistakes that you probably have done, because I have done multiple times, is you're setting too high expectations from the start. And that just sets you up for failure. When you raise the bar too high to start, because you haven't really taken a reality check of where you're starting, you inevitably fail, and then you feel bad because your confidence is busted, and then you start having self-doubt, and it gets even harder for you to be disciplined again. For example, let's say you want to focus on going to the gym in this winter arc. Let's say you don't even work out right now consistently. Why set you up for failure by telling yourself you're going to go 6 days a week? You need to do progressive training, meaning you need to start just a little bit more than where you're at right now and then increase the challenge over time. So in this case, you would have to go twice a week. That is a realistic challenge for you to start. And then at some point, twice a week will become easy. And then maybe you'll do 3 times a week, or maybe you'll do longer sessions, or maybe you'll do more reps, more sets. You will make it more challenging, but don't make it so challenging to start where you're not going to be able to sustain it. And I get it. You might be excited right now because you want to change and you're like, okay, I'm going to plan everything and you're going to create this new life. But just think about your life right now and this other life that you want. That is too big of a change. That will require too much energy for you to sustain that from the start. You need to just make slight changes. So it's not like you have to forget everything that you want to change, but just don't set too much expectations of too many hours of focus on that from the start. A good example for me is that I'm learning a new language right now. And for a while, I was very consistent, But then it wasn't sustainable because I was telling myself, oh, I want to do at least 1 hour a day. But then there were days where I couldn't do 1 hour. It was just not a priority for me to learn that language. So it kind of became like the bottom of my list. And I'm like, oh, if I don't do a whole hour, it's not worth it. So then I would slack off my consistency. But if I now only tell myself 15 minutes a day, even though it seems like, oh, I can do 15, but can I really? It's actually pretty challenging for me to be doing 15 minutes. So imagine an hour. So now the more I can be able to do 15, maybe over time, I'll do 30 minutes a day, or maybe I'll do 2 bouts of 15 separately, or whatever. You can start doing things differently, but that requires me to make the challenge more doable and realistic from the start. And the reason when you follow through this, it makes you feel good about yourself. And sometimes you'll end up doing more than you thought because you realize that you're kind of in the flow of things. But don't get too excited too quick. Just stick to the plan. And you'll see that it builds your power because you'll realize that you can do those things. And it's like a positive feedback loop. That's how you gain control over yourself, because you realize you set yourself a goal and you can follow through. So remember, the winter arc is not a phase. It's a new lifestyle that you're trying to instill. So just be mindful about the goals that you're setting for yourself during this challenge. And if anything, just pick an end date where by that end of the winter arc, you will revisit and see if you can add more. But the goal right now is to try to be consistent. You want to value consistency over intensity. And then when you revisit by the end of this period, you'll see if you're able to tolerate a higher workload. The second way to build your power is by mastering the first hour of the day. I know you've probably heard this before, that the way you start the day sets the tone for the remaining of the day. So in my eyes, that means that if you have a disciplined routine in the first hour that you wake up, if you kill that, you literally are setting yourself up for success, for more productivity, for more energy, for more momentum for the remaining of the day. And I see that to be true for myself. And usually the problem that literally stands in the way is that people are not capable of waking up an hour early. And I know what that's like because that was me. But you know, when I have a problem, I try to find solutions. This is how you navigate life. And what I'm doing now is I literally have my phone charging outside of my bedroom. So not only do I not go on my phone before bed because it's not in my room, but I can't go on it in the morning. And I literally bought a digital alarm clock, like old school, where in the morning it literally beeps far from my bed and I have to wake up and like manually turn it off. And then that literally makes me stay up because I'm literally up. My house code is there. I just put it on and then go straight to the bathroom. So you need to set yourself up in the environment for you to wake up early. Like that's the problem that you have. Like you probably try to wake up early, but you end up snoozing for that whole hour and then you end up rushing and like you literally kind of give your brain a message that you don't have control over yourself already from the start. And every time that I snooze in the morning, it always makes me feel so shitty about myself. Because not only did I snooze, but I didn't even get valuable sleep while I was snoozing. So I literally took an L straight from the start. And honestly, this is usually where my mental health would really struggle. Because when I would start my day like off, where I would snooze, where I would not do the things that I know would be valuable to me, I would kind of give a message to my brain that I don't have control of myself. And for the rest of the day, I would literally be less disciplined and I would have less willpower to make changes about my life because I felt like I ruined my day already. Like, I know this is a very black and white thinking, but I feel like to change my black and white thinking, it's by proving to myself that I can do the things that I say that I can do. So the solution was to go drastic, to literally leave my phone out of the room. So think about what is the thing that is holding you back from waking up 1 hour earlier. Maybe you need to go to bed an hour earlier. Maybe you have to stop watching TV the night before. So you have to think about your life and what's applicable to you. And now you're like, okay, well, what do I do in the first hour of the morning? Because I'm sure that you watch tons of morning routine videos because I've been that person before. But I realize none of what other people do matter, because what's most important is that I ask myself, what do I need? Okay, actually, I have two questions. What do I need? And what can I do that will inspire me for the day? Because if you try to copy other people, it won't feel that authentic. Plus, what they do might be too much for what you need right now. Remember, we're trying to progressive overload. So you don't want to like start putting in a million tasks when they're all going to be new to you. You have to be very strategic about it. But for me, I have more than 1 hour in the morning that I can do to like focus on some things. I actually have 3 because I choose to. But first, master the first hour is just a concept. You can take however much time you're willing to put. So I wake up at 6 and I don't have to leave until 9. So I noticed that there are a lot of advice out there in business that say that wake up, don't even brush your teeth and just get on your laptop and work. Like just get to work. I try to do that, but my brain is so slow when I wake up in the morning, like immediately. I need some time to wake up. And I don't want to drink caffeine right away either because it's just not good for you. It's not good for your circadian rhythm. So I'm like, okay, I need to wait at least an hour before coffee. I feel kind of like sleepy, and working straight up just doesn't work for me. So I have to adjust to my body and what it needs. So if that means that I need to take some time to do my skincare in the morning after I wake up, it gives me time to like refresh my face. Then I can listen to a podcast that kind of like nurtures my mind at the same time, kind of gets my brain flowing. I will drink water. I will go to the gym. I will get my stretches in. And it's not like performance driven, because in the past I would get like into my stretches trying to like fix all my body issues. But no, this is different. The mindset is different. It's all about like allowing myself to wake up slowly, like being more gentle with myself. I realized that that's what I need. That's what makes me kind of like wake up and kind of come to my senses and being present. It really sets the tone for the day. Like I am just taking care of myself because I love myself and I respect myself. It's the message that I'm giving to myself. And then I finish that stretching with a little 10-minute meditation where I just focus on my breath. And it's kind of like the last moment where I like tell myself to fully relax before I go into work mode. So after that, it's around 7 a.m. I have my first coffee. I feel great. I love my first sip. It gets me going. And then I will work on YouTube, on my script, on my content until 8:30 where I have breakfast. So I have an hour and a half where I like literally go all in into my work. And that not only makes me more productive because I feel like early in the day, no one disturbs you, but it also primes my brain to think about my YouTube or the content, or like I look for things throughout the day. So kind of like laying a foundation for what I'm looking for the day. And it really helps with my content creation. So I know this was a lengthy answer, but I want you to kind of like look back and look at your morning and kind of schedule hour by hour, minute by minute, like how can you have that perfect morning routine that is doable, that you can follow through every single day, but make sure that you have a clear reason why you want to do that thing. So have an intention behind that. Like if you want to meditate, just know why you want to meditate. If you want to stretch, know why you want to stretch. Like whatever routine. If you want to journal, write why you want to journal. Like you need to have a reason why that feels really true to you, because that will allow you to follow through it and feel like it's meaningful. That's like the biggest thing. And remember, like that routine will get easier the more you do it. Now, the third way to build your power so you can make decisions that align towards your goal with ease is by having a personal mantra. And just so you know, the 6 ways to build your power is taken from the book Personal Development for Smart People. But I actually changed this third one to fit one that I think is more valuable, which is personal mantras. So this is the only thing that I have changed between the 6 of them. But the reasoning is, when you have a mantra or an intention that kind of represents this chapter of your life that you're in, it really helps you make better decisions. So think about your winter arc. What do you want the message, the mantra, the essence to be behind it? Okay, don't think it's too woo-woo. Like this is actually really important. And that, I don't know, it's been really powerful in my life because every time I have entered new eras of my life, I always had like a title behind it, and it would help me make better decisions. When I was in my unbothered era, it allowed me to let things go. When I was in my open-minded era, it allowed me to open my perspectives. So a mantra is like this phrase that you choose to repeat to yourself to inspire, to motivate, or to affirm a specific belief or intention that resonates deeply with you and guides your behavior. Because remember, you're trying to change, and the problem that you have is like, you can't break this pattern. You can't break this like very fixed way of living right now. And if you don't try to do something about it, you will hold on to beliefs from that old life. But look at where that has taken you. It's taken you to a place that you don't want to be right now, a place where you want to change because you're dissatisfied with your life in some way. So that's why you want to replace your old thinking, your old self with a new intention. So you need to pick a mantra. And this is kind of going to take some time for you to decide, because you have to ask yourself, like, what is the theme behind the changes that you want to see in your life? Like, what is something that's going to help you guide your change? Your mantra should be personal, like it should reflect your values, your goals, and your priorities. Your mantra should also be brief, like you want it to be a short and easy sentence to remember. It should also be positive. So instead of saying, I will not fail, you say, I will succeed. And it also should be affirmative. So use things like I can, I am, I choose, because that way it like promotes empowerment and ownership. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. I embrace my uniqueness. I can overcome any obstacle. I choose joy and gratitude. I attract positivity in my life. I am strong and resilient. I am open to new ideas and experiences. Imperfect is beautiful. So you can see those can reflect an essence behind the big changes that you want to see in your life. And you know what? I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to share with you my mantra. So my mantra for this new season I'm in is I am passionate, kind, and at ease. This is something that I really want to embody. I want to embody my passion, like be authentically me. I want to be kind to myself and to others. And I want to be at ease. I want to be relaxed, because that's something that I really struggle with, is allowing myself to be chill, like really like feel at ease. So this mantra is something that really helps me feel better and feels completely aligned with who I want to become. So take the time, but don't overthink it, okay? Just pick something that feels like it aligns. And if you ever need to change it, you can always change it. But just reflect a little bit, pick something, and see how it motivates you and how much it gives you a sense of direction. And then just trust your gut. You will know when it feels right. The fourth way to build your power, to make hard choices feel easier, is by making yourself do the hardest task first. In business, we call that eat that frog. It literally just means to do the hardest task first thing on your to-do list. So you might have avoided multiple times before to do the biggest task of the day, the most important one. When you avoid tackling the biggest important task, not only are you procrastinating, but you're also losing energy and willpower as the day goes on to actually eventually do that task. And then you start feeling bad and you enter this negative cycle that makes you feel overwhelmed because you don't feel that good. The day has kind of gone by and you still have this big thing that you want to do, but you don't have the energy to do it. And then you have this significant task pending that's just weighing on your mind, and it's just causing you to feel stressed and anxious. I know what that feels like, okay? I'm very good at procrastinating, but you combat procrastination by doing the thing, by actually sitting down and committing to doing the hardest thing first. So every day when you look at the things that you have to do, that could be after your morning routine, when you sit down and you're ready to get to work, you have to be clear about what is that hardest task of the day and focus on doing this first. That literally builds so much momentum for the day, and imagine the relief you feel when that is done. It's almost like some people, the hardest task is working out. So imagine if you got your workout out of the way first thing in the morning. You would feel so much better. You will feel so good to have the rest of the day knowing that you gave yourself in the gym and now you're good and you feel healthy and energized and just disciplined. You want to figure out what is that huge thing that you can tackle first while your biology is fresh and has the energy to do it, because we're all the same. Our energy depletes as the day goes on. Our willpower depletes as the day goes on. So set yourself up for success and just start doing the thing that you need to do. For me, the hardest thing for me is to create like the structure of my YouTube videos and like come up with the ideas. It's so hard, like to have something coherent. And even though it's not that coherent, imagine that, like it's just like too hard to have everything perfect. But just to have the general idea of the sense of the video, that's really hard for me to do. The time where I'm the most fresh to work on this stuff is literally in the morning when I'm not distracted, when I haven't worked out, when I literally can just put my whole energy on that. Just imagine the relief that you will feel when you're done with that task. And right now, like, you know, today is a big day for me because I had to plan the video and film the video kind of like in the same day. So I've been doing my hardest task all day, but I can already sense the relief right now as I'm doing the task. It always feels worse before you do it, but when you do it, you naturally get into the momentum of things. And that's just how it works. That's how dopamine works. When it senses you making progress towards a goal, it would shoot dopamine in your brain and you will feel good about yourself because you're seeing yourself making progress. So just trust that you just need to do the work. Now, the fifth thing to increase your power is to find ways to compete. It's through competition. And if you're like me, you're a naturally very competitive person. And I want you to use that trait to your advantage. I used to be so ashamed of my competitive side because I was like, it's not humble. When I was a kid, I was a sore loser and I was embarrassed to like carry that shame later on in my life. I'm still to this day very scared before I play board games because I'm so traumatized by my behavior when I was a kid and losing. So I used to hide away a lot of my competitive spirit, but that's because I put a negative association with being competitive. If I switch my perspective and realize that being competitive is a gift and it is something that is fun and that ultimately competing can only make me win despite the result, that makes me feel better. And what I mean by that is like you have to realize that life in general is a game and you reaching your potential, it's kind of like a game that you're playing. So whatever competition you're trying to make within yourself to get better, to beat your previous score, to challenge yourself. Every time you try to challenge yourself to beat, like at your own game, even though sometimes you might not win the contest, you still are making progress, which is a win. You're still getting better. You're still doing more than if you wouldn't have competed because you're doing your best. That's the thing. When you're competing, you're giving your best, and that's the best that you can do. So you cannot lose if you give your best. You can only lose if you let fear hold you back. If you don't want to compete because you're scared of the result, or you're scared of losing, or you're scared of embarrassing yourself, that's how you lose. It's by not competing. So my favorite way to compete is within myself because ultimately that really is the only thing you can control. Yeah, you can compete with other people, you can compete against friends, but sometimes that can get a little bit tough. Like for me, it's like more toxic if I compare myself to others. So I like to do it within myself. And one of my favorite ways to compete within myself is through challenges. And that's why I created the 30-day self-improvement challenge in July. That was extremely successful. You probably participated in that if you're one of my returning subscribers. Then I created this part 2, which was an 8-week goal pursuit challenge that is just ending right now. And now I'm about to create my next challenge that I haven't announced yet because I'm not really sure what it's going to be, but I realize people love challenges because they see that they work. They do make progress. So in the meantime, while I create this new challenge, you can just literally take your winter arc as being a challenge for yourself. You will have a start date, which is today, okay? Today is your first day, or tomorrow if you need time to prep because it's late. Today or tomorrow is your first day. And then pick an end date, usually in January or February, about 3 months in, where you can revisit your whole challenge and just set yourself goals within the 3-month period. The key thing is to have a beginning and an end so that you can assess your progress and see that at the end of it, should you keep doing what you're doing because it's working and you have enough data points, or should you pivot or change some things because it's not really fruitful. But you can only know if it's worth it if you stick to it, if you commit to it. And you'll realize that whatever you do will be worth it if you commit, because even if you end up realizing something is not meant for you, at least you know yourself better. Let's say you tried meditating for 3 months and you realize like after 3 months, you really did it every day, but it ended up not really changing your life so much. Maybe you can tell yourself, well, I don't need to like worry about needing to meditate anymore because I saw for myself that I don't like it and it's not working for me. So you can see there's no way to lose at this game. Now, the final step, the sixth way to build your power, to have more confidence about your ability to make decisions and change, is by making sure that you rest and have self-care. Because if you're like me, you're always wanting to go, go, go. You always want to be productive. But just like when you work out, you need off days, you need rest days to make sure that your muscles can build. Or just like if you're studying, you need to sleep and rest for your brain to make the connections, because the learning happens while you sleep, not when you're actively learning the subject. And that's something that is really hard for people like us that are high achievers and are the type of people that pride themselves in being disciplined and productive, because we need to rest as well. And it feels weak, but actually it takes a lot of strength to slow down, to actually take care of yourself, to let go, to have fun. Like, those things are super important. And sometimes you forget about that because you're so wrapped up into your goals. But ultimately, life is all about connections and laughter and fun. Like, I know this is just a subjective point of view, but that really feels like it's pretty common for a lot of people to realize that you don't want to celebrate your success alone. So you need time to like connect with other people. You need time to enjoy life, to find ways to take care of yourself, whatever that looks like. And this is not your fault, because the world we live in right now, it like promotes this hustle culture. I mean, I could argue that I do that as well on my channel, but I'm growing and I'm realizing, wait a minute, you also need some rest. And this is something that I'm doing different with my winter arc. After 6 p.m., after dinner, I have a literally open free schedule to forcefully ask myself, do I need to take care of myself right now? And what do I need? And if I do need to take care of myself, I literally have a list of things that I can choose from and ask myself if that's what I need. Some are hobbies. Some are like connection and relationships and friendships. Some are like skills that I want to develop that are just kind of for fun, like learning my new language. So yeah, there's like some are like more relaxing, like reading fiction books or taking a bath. So there are tons of little insights that I have about, okay, what might I want if I need to take care of myself, but I'm giving myself some sort of freedom within my structured schedule to ask myself that question. I'm giving myself the permission to take that time if I need it. Sometimes I know myself. Sometimes I will be on the momentum of the day and I will want to continue. And if that feels good and energizing, I will allow myself. But it's important for myself to take some time to step back and ask myself those questions. I know that the winter arc, usually like all the other videos, it sounds almost like sexy or romantic, or like there's something attractive about this dark period of isolation where you cut everyone out. But like, I've been that person. I've went monk mode in a toxic way where I just like been in that lone wolf mentality. And that always leads to mental struggles, because you need to take care of yourself and you need connection. I thought it was weak, or I was making excuses to take care of myself, but like literally, it's so obvious. In my job as a professional athlete, we literally take off days because that's what allows us to perform better for when we need to perform, when we need to play well. So it's the same thing with your mental energy. It's the same thing for whatever performance in your work or your side hustle or your career, whatever. Like, you need to recharge. And because I know that my day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is pretty a tough grind where I'm locked in, I tell myself, after 6 p.m. every day, I'm going to need to ask myself if I need to take care of myself, because chances are I really do. And some people might not go as hardcore as me and maybe don't need that every single day, like this hobby, this let go, have fun period in their day. Maybe you're someone that will do 3 days in a row intense and then 2 days off. Like, who knows what you need, but you're the only one that it can actually answer that question for yourself. So to circle back, just look at the schedule of your day, like ideal day with your morning routine, with doing the hardest task, and just have a list on the side that are the ways that you take care of yourself. And that could be through hobbies, through connection, through relaxation, but just know what that looks like. And make sure you actually schedule that in your schedule, or at least schedule in your schedule the question, what do I need for myself? How can I take care of myself? How can I rest right now? Just super important. So I hope you will apply these changes, because now is the time to take yourself seriously. Now is the time to enter your winter arc, and you will only change once you do the changes. We've established that. So make sure that you do these 6 ways to build your power, because if you do those, you'll realize over time it will get easier for you to be disciplined and do the hard choices. And if you watch until the end, can you please comment the gorilla emoji, because that tells me that you're built different. Not only did you listen to this whole video, but you're going to actually change your life, which is what makes you different than other people. So if you want to access my free community, you can go into the link in my description, where it's like-minded individuals that support each other, and we go through our goals together, and we like compete, but we have each other's support. And then I also have a newsletter where I share some personal insights about my life that I don't share anywhere else. So those are the 2 links in my description. And now stay tuned for my next video that will come this week. And it's all about this type of stuff. So if you like it, just stick around. All right. I love you so much, and I'll see you very soon. Mwah.